Good morning, Flagler County. This is Danielle Anderson, your host of Lifeline, the radio show connecting you to positivity in our community. And we've got Penny Buckles in the studio this morning. Good morning, Penny.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. So, for the listeners who are listening today on Saturday, we're going to give you a little treat because we're doing a behind the scenes a video for the podcast just to let folks kind of see what goes on in the studio when we have guests here. So, this is actually our first day doing it. So, I hope you can check it out over on WNZF News Facebook page, and I wish we could get Mark in here so you could see his really cool shirt, right?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Oh my gosh. So, Penny, we want to talk about some really cool stuff that's coming up here in Flagler, and what's the first event that comes?
So, as you know, I'm the president of the Flagler County Fair and Youth Show. We no longer have a midway, but we do still promote the Florida agriculture through the 4-H and FFA programs. And next weekend, February 15th, we have our Blue Jeans and Bling fundraiser, and this is a scholarship fundraiser for all the 4-H and FFA graduating seniors. And it is next Saturday at 6 p.m. at the Flagler County Fairgrounds.
It's going to be in Cattleman's Hall?
Yes, it is.
So tell us a little bit about, I envision, ladies in, super decked out, high heel boots and cowboy hats. Is that what's going on?
They do. It's called Blue Jeans and Bling for a reason, because you can wear as casual as blue jeans and your boots and a shirt, a t-shirt even, but then some people come formally dressed as well. So, and we do have a best dress contest and a best dance contest, so it's a lot of fun.
So for people who haven't met you before, tell us a little bit about your backstory and your history here in Flagler County, because it goes real deep.
It does. I'm a native of Flagler County. My family, I wasn't a farmer, and it's funny because I got involved with the Flagler County Fair and Youth Show because my daughter, at the age of 12, was involved with FFA, Future Farmers of America, and that was 28 years ago. And I am still on the board of directors for the Flagler County Fair and Youth Show. It's a passion of mine to educate our youth, the next generation of agri-scientists, farmers. That's my passion. So to keep that going, because if we don't educate today's youth, I'm afraid that farming is going to be a thing of the past.
And I've been kind of following you from the News Journal over to Flagler News Weekly for years and watching what you've been doing with these students. And it's just really incredible every year, the projects that they bring to the youth fair. Can you tell people how those projects are kind of developed?
I can. So part of our educational program, and we are chartered from the Department of Agriculture, and we have to follow their guidelines. So every 4-H and FFA livestock exhibitor is required to enter into our Family Living and Arts division, which is art, photography, poster contest,
and these are little kids,
sewing,
right?
Oh, yeah, from age 5. We call them peewees, from age 5 until graduating seniors at 18.
And is that 4-H and FFA? Or
Yes,
they
it is.
How are they separated? How are they the same?
They're two totally different organizations, but they have the same goal, and that is to educate these kids. There's a lot of leaders that come out of both of those programs. There's just so much more involved with being in agriculture than just planting seeds. You know, you have vet science, vet tech, equipment dealers. There's just so many different aspects of agriculture. Did you know that almost every piece in your vehicle comes from the byproduct of a cow?
I did not know that.
You'll have to look that up.
Oh
so.
my gosh. May not want to know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these kids are learning, and is it like home ec?
It is. It is. 4-H is a lot like home ec. It's hands-on. So what they're teaching them is all of those divisions that we have at the livestock show and sale that these kids are required to participate in. Each group has a leader. And, God, I don't remember how many kids is in it this year. There's almost 200 4-H kids involved this year, which is wonderful. If we just pique the interest of one of those kids, we've done a good job. And I don't want to get us too mixed up, because FFA is totally different from 4-H, even though the end goal is the same. They teach a lot of different leadership skills and agriculture, but the leadership skills that they come out of that program are excellent. We have some great leaders.
Is that the FFA that does the leadership?
It is.
So when a kid comes in, I mean, we have kids that live in the city, and they may say, in the city, Palm Coast, and they're like, oh, I don't know anything about being out on the west side, or I don't know anything about animals, because we just don't have that here. How do you kind of break them in and let them get used to it?
Well, I have some great news. There's 60% of our exhibitors this year are all new kids that live in the city. So that is a first in many, many years. So 4-H and FFA ties all those kids in and gives them the opportunity to raise their animals. They have their own livestock barns, FFA and 4-H does, that gives them the opportunity to raise an animal.
So let's talk about the whole process. Like, how do they go in and like decide on a project, and then the process of raising it?
Okay, so in the summer, the Fair Board meets all summer and gets our new rules together and dates together. And then in October, the kids are all required to register for whatever kind of animal they want to raise. They can raise rabbits for the younger kids and chickens, pigs, goats, steers, and heifers. And so they purchase their steers and heifers in the summer months. And the others, we provide the chickens to all the kids so that they have all the same breeds and all the same age. And they have until the end of the year to register the rest of their animals to provide me with their receipts. So they start raising them in October. And then the livestock show and sale is always the first or second week of April. And during that time, we have showmanship clinics and educational seminars for the kids to attend so that they can learn a little bit more about their animals and how to raise them. And
I
then,
was gonna say, how do you just like you suddenly bring home a cow, and where do you go from there?
so a cow's a little bit different. So a steer is a lot different. So a steer, you definitely have to have a place to keep it. You can't keep those in the city. But the 4-H has a 4-H barn, and FFA has one as well. And they allow them. We don't usually have too many steers. There's usually about 7 or 8. They're the hardest animal to raise because of the expense involved with it. So the kids pay anywhere from $1,800 to $2,000 for a show steer. And then they have another close to $3,000 in feed before the event gets here, before their shows and the sale gets here in April. It's a huge undertaking, and it's a big responsibility for the kids.
And it seems like I've seen it's mostly like juniors and seniors that have those kinds of animals. Is that right?
That is true. Yes, the steers and the heifers are usually the older kids.
And is it because they've been able to build up over the years? Because they earn money from these events, right?
Yes, they do. So our event is farm to freezer. Okay. So the rabbits and the chickens do not go in the freezer. They go home with their buyers. But the pigs and the goats and the steers do go to someone's freezer. And so they raise money by selling that at our auction. And they also get add-ons. And add-ons are just a donation made in the child's name. And we're one of the few fairs that do that allow it. And they usually make more money on their add-ons than they do on the sale of their animals because the expenses are so high now on feed and just raising them.
So talk about like the night of the event, because I mean, all through the week they're on display, right? Or are they showing them around?
Well, on Monday night of April 7th is the rabbit and the pullet show at 6:00. And then on Wednesday, what is that, the 7th, 8th? There is a swine show. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The steer, heifer, and goat show is that night. And this is where the kids are competing in competition for what they know about their animal and how they raise their animal. And then on Thursday night is the swine show. And then on Friday night of that week is our livestock auction. We have opening ceremonies, and every child brings their animal into the ring, and they show it around the ring, and we have a professional auctioneer there and people are bidding on that. So the general public can come, it's free admission, and they can bid on these animals. But they have to know they do not go home with them. They go to a processing center, and then they go into their freezer.
Unless it's mom picking up the rabbit for the kid.
Oh, that's right. The rabbits and the chickens. Yeah, those are quite popular.
It's so cute when you see a mom, like she's getting a checkbook out and it's like $224 to get the rabbit back. And she's like, we just couldn't let him go.
That's right. That happens a lot.
It's super cool. Yeah. And then you also have like, I noticed pie and cake and stuff in between for auction.
We do. So that is one of our biggest fundraisers is the dessert auction. And we do that to slow down the process a little bit so that our accounting center can get caught up from the auction. But we usually raise, $4,000 to $5,000 on the dessert auction during that little bit of time, which, as you may or may not know, we're nonprofit. So we don't have a midway anymore, so we don't have any income. So we're solely funded by our sponsors and our fundraising efforts.
Is there anybody who's been like a really great sponsor over the years?
Absolutely. We have several folks. Larry and Rachel Rogers. They're one of our platinum sponsors. And now Rachel has opened a new company called Family Wellness, Family Ties Wellness. She's an APRN. And so they're a platinum sponsor. And the Morello family from Morello Heating and Air Conditioning. And all three of those have just been wonderful, because without those big sponsors like that, we can't do this. And even without the smaller sponsors. So John from Flagler Power Equipment has been a consistent sponsor of ours for many, many years, as Sizemore Welding has been as well. So we have quite a few that without their support, we couldn't do it.
And it's amazing to see what a tradition this is for generations of families, because I always watch the little kids as they grow up over the years, and then they're out there doing it, or they're watching their big brother or sister, and then they're out there the next few years.
They do. So we have like 3 generations in right now. Actually, one graduated, so it's 2, but yeah, it is definitely generational. And now we have all these new kids coming in, and I'm so excited to have so many peewees come in, because that first year of showing a rabbit or a chicken can be a lifetime of interest in agriculture.
So I was going to say, how do you think this is kind of building that interest and opening up new career opportunities?
Well, it is definitely a build up for it, because there's that you have to come and watch those 5-year-olds, the 5, 6, and 7-year-olds, and the peewees, and their faces when they're showing their animals are so proud of their projects. And once you get them roped in, they love it, and so they come back year after year. Most of the time, there's very few kids that don't come back and do that the following year.
And there's an opportunity to go on to like a state and a national leadership
There
level,
is,
right?
and that's FFA. FFA has programs where you can go to competitions statewide and nationally.
I think that's so impressive. And
It is.
the students who are always part of it are so respectful. They understand responsibility, you see like a future leader, a real one, when you're talking to them.
Absolutely.
So last year was kind of special for you guys. Everybody kind of stayed to the end, and it turned out to be just an unbelievable story. So tell us a little bit about it.
So we have one of our youth exhibitors. His name was Riley Larmore. Sweet young man, curly hair, just as cute as he can be. And he was in an accident right before our livestock shows and sale. Well, our community pulled together and had a big fundraiser for him. But we also allowed his brother and sister to auction off his pig. And we had so many people, and I get goosebumps when I think about it. We had so many people in the audience that stayed till the end to just bid on his pig. And between the donations from the local businesses and from the auction, they raised about $50,000 for this young man. It was amazing.
I mean, his pig went for some like unbelievable per pound.
It did. I
amount.
want to say it was $72 a pound.
It's incredible. And it was like,
Yeah.
you saw how much people really cared about it. How's he doing now?
So now Riley has a pig again this year. He has been through some intensive physical therapy and surgeries, and he's coming back. He is just a tremendous young man, and he is hopefully going to be able to show and sell his pig at this year's fair. We're looking forward to having him back and just in the ring. It's just amazing, and boy, God just works in special ways.
Do you feel like this gave him something to look forward to come back?
I do. Yes.
So we're going to take a super quick break, and then we'll be right back with Penny Noble's Vocals.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So this is what really happens behind the scenes when we take our commercial break. All right. Ready, Mark? All righty. So we're back with Penny Buckles, and we are talking about the fair and all the cool stuff they have coming up. Another great thing that we do here is at Cattlemen's Hall is our Cracker Day event, and you're part of that as well.
That's correct. My husband's family, and of course, there's several other people involved with it. We can't exactly figure out how many years, but it's been about 45 years that my husband's family, the Buckles family, has cooked the beef for Cracker Day, and it's him and the Collies actually have been the mainstays all these years. So we go out and they cut blackjack oak because that's specific to what needs to be cooked with that beef, and then it's cooked slow on those coals all night long. I think last year they may have cooked about 3,500 pounds of beef.
That's incredible.
I know it is, and they've gotten as high as 4,500, I think, one year. So it's a great day. It's not just about the beef. In your admission fee is your lunch and a a fantastic rodeo. They have games day in the morning, and then they have bull riding, events for kids to do, barrel racing. So it's just a fun day.
And it's also when Miss Cracker Day comes out, right?
That's true.
If you guys have not seen it, it is the most amazing thing when she comes out and she's got the American flag and it's like blowing in the breeze and you're just like, this is what it's all about.
Oh,
Like this
yeah.
is America.
It is. Their entire little program that they do ahead of time at opening ceremonies on their horses and the flags is amazing.
It's so cool. Talk about the little kids who come out, or the little rodeo people.
So, so the little kids can actually get out there and do. They have a chicken race and a pig race, and a boot. I think they have the boot race as well, where they throw all the boots in a pile and you have to find your boot. The kids love doing those games, so you have to bring the kids out to do that.
So when is Cracker Day this year? It's coming up, right?
It's the last Saturday of March. I think it's the 28th.
Okay.
And it's always the last Saturday of March.
So don't miss this. I mean, even if you only go for the beef, I know she says that's not the deal, but the beef is so incredible. And if there's any left over, they like sell home. You can take it home with you and freeze it, and just you can have like delicious beef like for 2 months. It's great.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my gosh. So what else? People may not understand about the Cattlemen's Association. I know until I started doing news reporting, I'd never heard of it. So can you tell us a little bit about the Cattlemen's Association itself?
Yeah, I'm not personally involved with the cattlemen's that much. I volunteer, of course, for Cracker Day. But the Florida Cattlemen's Association is a group of cattlemen and women that promote Florida agriculture by raising livestock, by raising beef. And Florida has one of the largest beef producers in the United States.
And it's strange. You're talking, people don't really associate Florida and agriculture, together.
Yeah, they don't. And we are a huge agricultural state. Flagler County we're one of the biggest cabbage and potato producers in the state.
So, I mean, as you're watching it grow, working with these students, are you seeing more interest in agriculture from the kids? And why do you think that is, if it is?
I do. I think, especially the livestock portion of it, I would like to get the farmers more involved with the planting part of it. And that's where FFA and 4-H comes out, because they have a day where they go plant seeds and they have their
right
own
on.
crop over in Hastings. So they get their own little plot of property that they can plant on. Just the watching them planting their own seeds is planting a seed for their future. And watching them raise their animals gives them a better idea of where their meat comes from and where their vegetables come from. It's not just from the grocery store. And that watching that in itself is amazing.
So what's been the most important or rewarding part of working with this for you? Because, it's been almost 3 decades, right?
It has. And now my grandchildren are involved with it,
Oh.
just like everyone else's. And I have watched it grow from a very small program to maybe 100 people being there to buy animals to 400 and 500 people being there now. So we want to increase those numbers. The more the kids can make on the animals, the more money they have in their college funds. They're planning their futures by the sale of their animals. But I've just seen it grow so much in 30 years. It's been an incredible journey.
Do you ever envision bringing back? It was always like the two went hand in hand, with the fair portion of it, with the rides and things like that. Do you ever see that coming back? Or
I do. And what happened is during COVID, COVID hit 2 months before our fair, so it was canceled. The county owns the fairgrounds, and then the next year it was canceled again. And then we couldn't find a midway to come back.
Oh.
So, and now they're going to be doing some construction at the fairgrounds. So we're not going to be able to do anything there till 2027 maybe. But I would like to see a midway come back.
I think that's part of the experience.
It is. I think the county's ready for it.
Oh my gosh. Are you excited about the new Cattlemen's Hall?
I am.
Have you got any? Now, I know you do some other really cool stuff like weddings. Do you still do that stuff?
A little bit here and there.
So do you see like Cattlemen's Hall becoming a destination venue like that?
So the Cattlemen's Hall won't be used for that anymore. So they're actually building a new 10,000 square foot building at the fairgrounds. And so that's going to be like a community center with a kitchen and bathrooms and that kind of thing. And the Cattlemen's Hall, I'm not quite sure exactly where we're going to fit in with that yet.
Oh.
So I'm not sure what we're doing with that. And I know they're building us new barns as well for the livestock shows and sell. But everything's going to be portable so that other people can rent the facilities.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I am.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, I am. I can't wait till the new building gets built.
Oh my gosh. So are you doing any work with the Ag Museum anymore?
No, but I love the Ag Museum. I'm a big promoter of the Ag Museum. Kara Halblick has done a wonderful job there. And, if people went out there and saw what was there, they would just be amazed. They need to make it a point to go and visit the Ag Museum.
And they just started a new country market.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I mean, how can you not love the Ag Museum? It's
Yeah.
so amazing.
Oh, yeah. The horseback riding, the trails, they've got a lake in the back. That's where they have a lot of the weddings at. And it's available for rent. So, it is a venue.
It's beautiful out
Mm-hmm.
there. I mean, I love it when they always do the Pelletier Creek raid.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out and covered it last year and it was so cool. And we were
It
just
is.
like, it was the first time I'd ever been.
Oh, wow.
And so I was, just to see everybody in like period
Yeah.
costumes, it was like, you can't imagine having that in Flagler County because you think of Flagler County being the beaches.
Right. And it isn't. There's so much more to it than just the beach. Even though the beach is beautiful. I grew up on the beach. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh. So tell us, what can people do to help support the Boots and Bling event?
Okay, so Boots and Bling is next weekend. Tickets are $50 a person, and it includes a steak or chicken dinner and dessert, of course. And we have entertainment, dancing, we have a bar, and giveaways. We have auction items. We have a dessert auction that night as well. And Blue Jeans and Bling is a fundraiser for our scholarship fund, as I said earlier. And actually, if you can't attend and you'd like to donate something for the auction items, we will accept those. People can contact me. Go to our website or my Facebook page and send me a message. But if anybody would like to be a sponsor to help our educational programs, that information is on there as well.
Is it too late for somebody to sponsor the fair?
Not at all. No, I'll take sponsorships up until 2 weeks before.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
So how do they get in touch with you if they want to find you?
So they can just call me at 386-931-6597, or they can visit the www.flaglercountyfair.com website and hit the contact button or the sponsorship button.
And Boots and Bling is on there too?
And that's on there as well, yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So walk-ups the night of or no?
Very limited for walk-ins on the night of the event.
So don't waste time. Get your stuff early, right?
That's right. You have until Monday.
All right. Well, we just want to thank you for coming in. And I know you had a busy day, so I really do appreciate you making time to be here.
Oh, well, thank you for having me because this is very important to our community and you have always supported us. So we do appreciate you.
And we do want to give a shout out to the Observer because they did a really awesome spread. Talk about that real quick.
Yes, they did real quick. So I contacted Brian with the Observer and had an idea and he took it and ran with it. And Stevenson Wilcox was the sponsor for that. And that 4-page insert in that newspaper had all of our exhibitors in it. And it was just a fantastic article. He did a wonderful job.
I bet those kids are super proud, right?
Yes, they are.
Oh, did they get extra? Will there be any that people can find?
I'm not sure. We kept some, and I've been handing them out, but I will contact Brian and see if there is some left.
I hope so because it was really cute. I was like, oh, I wish I'd come up with that idea. So tell them one more time, what's the website?
FlaglerCountyFair.com.
FlaglerCountyFair.com. Okay, so we want to thank WNZF News Radio, Flagler News Weekly, Massage by Natalie and Company, the Benjamin Moore Paint Store here in Palm Coast, and the Vigilante Philanthropist for sponsoring the show. And